In the pantheon of modern action cinema, Denzel Washington stands as a colossus. For decades, he has embodied characters of immense moral complexity, from the corrupt Alonzo Harris in Training Day to the principled Coach Herman Boone in Remember the Titans. Yet, for all his versatility, one thing remained constant for the first 37 years of his career. He never made a sequel. Washington famously avoided returning to characters, believing that stories should have a definitive beginning, middle, and end. That changed in 2018 with the release of The Equalizer 2. This film is not merely a sequel, it is a historical anomaly. It marks the first time Denzel Washington reprised a role for a follow-up film. The character of Robert McCall, a stoic, time-obsessed, former DI operative turned vigilante, proved so compelling that Washington broke his own cardinal rule. Directed by his frequent collaborator Antoine Fuqua, The Equalizer 2 arrived 4 years after the surprise hit original. It promised more of the signature equalization, the brutal, calculated, and almost artistic dispatching of evildoers. But does it deliver? This text will serve as a complete cinematic autopsy. We will begin with a scene-by-scene explanation of the plot, moving into an exhaustive thematic review, and finally, a collection of deep-cut facts, production trivia, and box office analysis. By the end, you will understand not just what happens in the film, but why it matters in the context of Washington's career, the action genre, and the late 2010s political landscape. Part 1, Detailed Movie Explanation, a scene-by-scene breakdown prologue. The Turkish Express, establishing the ritual. The film opens not with a title card, but with the visceral sound of a train cutting through wind. We are on a high-speed rail line in Turkey. The color palette is desaturated, blues, grays, and the harsh white of a winter sun. The camera lingers on the back of a man's head, the familiar, broad shoulders of Robert McCall, Denzel Washington. He wears his uniform, a black zip-up jacket, a baseball cap, and the quiet intensity of a predator at rest. This opening sequence serves as a greatest hits of McCall's methodology. He is not here on a revenge mission for a client of his new job, a Lyft-like rideshare driver. He is here on a personal favor for a friend, the bookstore owner from the first film, we learn later. His mission: retrieve a 9-year-old girl, Amy, kidnapped by her father and taken to Istanbul. The setup: McCall observes the father in a dining car. The man is loud, drunk, and sweaty, the opposite of McCall's control. McCall approaches the daughter, speaking softly. He uses a photo of her mother to establish trust. The girl is terrified, but McCall's eyes convey a paternal safety that is rarely seen in action heroes. The confrontation: the father notices. He is a hulking figure, but sloppy. He lunges at McCall, who sidesteps with the efficiency of a matador. The fight is brief and brutal. McCall uses the environment, a hot tea kettle, the edge of a table, and his signature move, the rapid, devastating pressure point strikes. He does not kill the father. Instead, he incapacitates him, zip-ties him to a pole, and walks the girl off the train. This is crucial. McCall is not a murderer. He is a facilitator of justice. He delivers the girl to her mother on a snowy dock. The mother weeps. McCall nods, turns, and walks away. The ritual is established. He helps those who cannot help themselves, then disappears. Act 1. The quiet life. McCall is a ghost. Boston, Massachusetts, present day. The film transitions from the icy exotics of Turkey to the gray, working-class reality of Boston. McCall is no longer a Black Friday employee. He is a Lyft driver. The camera shows us his routine. He wakes precisely at 6 a.m. He boils water for tea, PG Tips, a specific brand from the first film. He arranges his utensils with military precision. He reads Proust. His apartment is sterile, a monk's cell. As a driver, he observes the city. We see a montage of passengers. The brokers. 2 young finance bros in the back seat, discussing hostile takeovers. They mock a subordinate. McCall glances in the rearview mirror. His eyes are flint. He says nothing, but we sense his disgust. The elderly Holocaust survivor, Sam Rubinstein, Orson Bean, in his final film role. McCall picks up Sam from an art auction. Sam is frail, sharp-tongued, and desperate. He is searching for a painting, a portrait of his sister, lost during the Nazi occupation. McCall listens. He cares. He agrees to help pro bono. The assaulted woman, a young woman, Amy, gets into the car. She is disheveled, crying with a torn dress. She doesn't say what happened, but the signs of date rape are evident. McCall drives her to the hospital, pays for her cab fare, and then returns to the party house where she was assaulted. The first equalization. Minor, the scene is a tension builder. McCall walks into the frat-like house. The men who assaulted Amy are lounging. They're arrogant. McCall asks for a glass of water. He sets a timer on his watch. He then brutally beats the men. He doesn't kill them, but he breaks bones, shatters kneecaps, and terrifies them into confessing on a recording. He sends the recording to the police. This scene is important because it shows McCall's rage is controlled, but present. He is a ticking clock, the mentor and the protege. McCall's humanity is shown through his relationship with Miles Whitaker, Ashton Sanders, a young, angry black teenager who lives in the same housing project. Miles is gifted in art graffiti, but is being pulled into gang life. McCall sees himself in Miles, a potential for violence that needs channeling. He hires Miles to paint a mural on the courtyard wall. Their relationship is the emotional heart of the film. McCall lectures him about the story of art by E.H. Gombrich. He tries to teach Miles that art is discipline. Miles wants fast money. The generational tension is palpable. Act 2. The fracture, the death of a friend. The Plummer connection. We are reintroduced to Susan Plummer, Melissa Leo, and Brian Plummer, Bill Pullman. Susan is McCall's former handler at the DIA, Defense Intelligence Agency. She is the only person who knows who McCall truly is. They meet in a diner. Their dialogue is clipped, professional, but warm. Susan is investigating a case, a murder-suicide of an agent in Brussels. She is suspicious. The Brussels tragedy, Susan and her new partner, Dave York, Pedro Pascal, travel to Brussels. Dave York is introduced as McCall's former partner, a fellow ghost. They were the best of the best. Dave seems affable, a family man. He and Susan investigate the crime scene. It is a bloody mess. A man and his wife dead. Looks like a murder-suicide. But McCall, back in Boston, gets a phone call from Brian. Susan is dead, killed in her hotel room. The official story, a robbery gone wrong. McCall stops breathing. This is the inciting incident of the revenge plot. Denzel's performance here is masterful. He doesn't cry. He doesn't scream. He goes rigid. His eyes lose all warmth. He cancels his rides. He becomes the machine. The investigation. McCall travels to the crime scene against protocol. He examines the body. He sees the wound. A single, precise knife wound to the chest. He looks at the robbery. Nothing was taken. He looks at the murder-suicide. The angle of the entry wounds is wrong. McCall realizes this was a professional hit. Only one group of people could do this. His old unit. The betrayal revealed, McCall invites Dave York to his car. They talk like old friends. McCall says, "I found Susan's killer." Dave asks who. McCall says, "I don't know yet, but I know it was a ghost." The tension is electric. Pedro Pascal plays Dave as charming but hollow. Later that night, an assassin posing as a Lyft passenger tries to kill McCall with a silenced pistol. McCall kills the assassin. He takes the man's phone. The last call. Dave York. The confrontation at the York residence. McCall goes to Dave's house. It is a perfect suburban home. Wife. 2 daughters. Dave is carving a pumpkin. It is a deeply unsettling scene. McCall sits at the kitchen island. The 2 men talk in whispers, so the family doesn't hear. Dave confesses without remorse. After the DIA disbanded their unit, he and the team became contract killers. They killed the agent in Brussels. Susan got close to the truth, so Dave killed her. He says, "She was going to figure it out, Robert. She was good at her job." McCall stands up. He looks at Dave's daughters. He says, "I'm going to kill every single one of you." Act 3. The Hurricane, the Reckoning. The war begins. Dave's team, Kovac, Ari, and Resnick, are ruthless. They try to kill Brian Plummer, Susan's husband. McCall intercepts them, saving Brian and moving him to safety. This confirms McCall's intention. He is a protector first. Miles in peril. While McCall is away, Dave and Kovac break into McCall's apartment. They find Miles painting the mural. They capture him. Dave calls McCall. "I have your boy. Come to your old hometown." The hometown is a coastal Massachusetts town called Brant Rock. The setting is a character. The climax takes place during a Category 2 hurricane. The wind screams. Rain is horizontal. The town is evacuated. It is gray, wet, and apocalyptic. This is genius filmmaking. The chaos of the storm externalizes McCall's internal rage. It also levels the playing field. McCall is a tactician. The storm blinds his enemies. The tactical equalization, the murders. Kovac, the harpoon. McCall lures Kovac into a boathouse. Kovac is the muscle, big, loud, wielding a machine pistol. McCall uses a spear gun. He fires a harpoon through Kovac's chest, pinning him to a pillar. It is a callback to Moby Dick and McCall's reading of literature. It is silent, brutal, and artistic. Ari, the knives. Ari is the stealth expert. He hunts McCall through a flooded street. McCall hides in a flipped boat. He stabs Ari in the neck and leg with 2 hidden knives. The kill is fast, almost intimate. Resnick, the flower explosion. Resnick chases McCall into an abandoned bakery. It is McCall's deceased wife's bakery, a deep lore cut. Resnick throws a flashbang. McCall rips open bags of flour. The flour becomes aerosolized. A spark from the flashbang ignites the cloud. The explosion is massive. Resnick is incinerated. McCall walks out the back door, singed but alive. The final duel, McCall versus York. Dave has Miles tied up in the trunk of a car parked on a jetty. The waves are crashing. Dave taunts McCall from a watchtower. He shoots at Miles's car. McCall shoots the tires, lowering the car's profile. He then climbs the tower. The fight is ugly. There are no martial arts flourishes. It is 2 old ghosts beating each other with fists and a knife. Dave stabs McCall in the arm. McCall headbutts Dave. Finally, McCall stabs Dave in the exact same spot where Susan was stabbed, the abdomen. Then, he slashes the back of Dave's neck, a call to the Equalizer technique. Dave falls into the hurricane sea. He is gone. The rescue. McCall opens the trunk. Miles is terrified but alive. McCall holds him. You're okay. You're okay. They walk back to McCall's old house, destroyed but standing. They stitch each other's wounds. The storm passes. Epilogue. The painting and the mural. Boston, weeks later. The sun is out. Sam Rubinstein stands in an elderly woman's apartment. Thanks to Susan's research, which McCall retrieved, they found his sister. She is alive, 90 years old, in a nursing home. Sam weeps. McCall watches from the door. He smiles. It is the only genuine smile in the film. Final shot, back in the courtyard. Miles has finished the mural. It is a vibrant, colorful painting of the neighborhood children playing life. Fatima, Sakina Jaffrey, the neighbor, looks out her window. She smiles. McCall looks at the mural, then looks out towards the sea, his old home. He is at peace. For now. Part 2. In-depth critical review. The Paradox of the Equalizer 2. Antoine Fuqua and Denzel Washington are a formidable team. Their previous collaborations, Training Day, which won Washington his Oscar, The Equalizer, and The Magnificent Seven, share a common thread: masculine violence as a tool for moral clarity. The Equalizer 2 attempts to continue this tradition, but it is a film caught between 2 identities: the gritty, character-driven drama it wants to be, and the generic action thriller the studio needs it to be. The pros. What works? 1. Denzel Washington's gravitas. Let us state the obvious. Denzel Washington is 63 years old in this film, released 2018. He moves slower than Keanu Reeves and John Wick. He grunts when he stands up. And yet, he is utterly terrifying. Washington understands that McCall is not a superhero. He is a trauma victim who has weaponized his routine. The best acting in the film happens in the silences. Look at the scene where he learns Susan is dead. He is on the phone. His face goes from confusion to shock to emptiness in 3 seconds. No dialogue. That is a masterclass. Washington also brings a tenderness to the mentor scenes with Ashton Sanders. When McCall looks at Miles's graffiti, he doesn't scold him. He says, "You have talent. Don't waste it." It is paternal in a way that modern action heroes, often brooding loners, rarely are. McCall is a lonely man, but he craves connection. He just can't have it because everyone around him dies. 2. The Pedro Pascal dynamic. Before Pedro Pascal became the world's favorite The Last of Us dad, or the titular Mandalorian, he was a brilliant villain. Dave York is a sociopath who hides behind a dad bod and a lawnmower. Pascal plays him with a terrifying calm. The scene in the kitchen, where McCall threatens to kill him while his daughter asks for help with Halloween costumes, is the film's dramatic peak. Pascal smiles through the whole thing. You're not going to do anything, Robert. You know the rules. He is wrong, but the tension is unbearable. 3. The hurricane climax. Most action movies climax in a warehouse or an airport. The Equalizer 2 chooses a hurricane. This is a logistical nightmare to film, but it pays off in atmosphere. The wind is a constant sound. The rain stings the lens. The fight on the watchtower is genuinely dangerous feeling because you believe the characters could slip and die from the environment, not just the bullets. It elevates the B-movie plot to a Greek tragedy. Nature itself is weeping for Susan. 4. Melissa Leo's limited but powerful role. Melissa Leo plays Susan Plummer with a world-weary intelligence. She's McCall's conscience. When she dies, the film loses its moral anchor. Leo's performance in the diner scene, where she subtly asks McCall if he's doing the job again, is a masterclass in subtext. She knows he is a killer. She loves him anyway. Her death feels genuinely unfair, which is the point. The cons. What fails 1. The pacing problem. Too slow, then too fast. The Equalizer 2 runs 121 minutes. The first 60 minutes are a series of vignettes. The lift rides, the old man's painting, the teenagers are. These are called character development, but they feel like filler. We watch McCall drive people around for what feels like an eternity. The film is afraid to get to the revenge plot. Once Susan dies, around the 70-minute mark, the film shifts into hyperdrive. The last 50 minutes are a relentless chase and murder spree. The balance is off. You are bored for an hour, then exhausted for an hour. 2. The villains are generic except Pascal. Dave York is great. The other 3, Kovac, Ari Resnick. Say their names out loud. Do you remember their faces? Kovac is the big one. Ari is the skinny one. Resnick is the one with the beard. That's it. They have no lines of consequence. They're targets, not characters. The original Equalizer had the great Martin Chokas as a terrifying oligarch. This film has 3 mannequins in tactical gear. When McCall kills them, you feel no catharsis because they are just obstacles. 3. The Miles Whitaker logic gap. Ashton Sanders is a fine actor, Moonlight, but his character makes terrible decisions that exist only to drive the plot. He is told repeatedly to stay away from gangs. He steals a watch from a rich passenger's house, a side plot that goes nowhere. He gets kidnapped because he is painting a mural at 10 p.m. in a dark courtyard. Why? Because the plot needs him to be a damsel in distress. It is lazy writing. A smarter script would have had Miles actively helping McCall, or using his art to trap the villains. Instead, he just yells in a trunk for 15 minutes. 4. The revenge for a woman trope. Susan is a great character, but she exists primarily to die, so McCall can feel sad. This is the fridging trope, where a female character is killed off to motivate the male hero. The film tries to argue that Susan is a colleague, not a love interest. She is married to Brian, but the emotional weight is the same. McCall barely reacts to Susan's death as a loss of a person. He reacts to it as a violation of his code. He says, "She was one of us," not, "She was my friend." It is a subtle but important difference that makes the revenge feel transactional rather than emotional. 5. The Rotten Tomatoes score is accurate, 52%. Critics were divided. The consensus was diminishing returns. And they are right. The first Equalizer had a mystery. Who is this guy? Why does he work at a hardware store? The sequel removes the mystery. We know who he is. We know he can kill 10 men in a room. The tension is gone. The film relies on you liking Denzel Washington, not on the story surprising you. Thematic analysis, time, trauma, and the art of violence. To understand the Equalizer 2, you must understand its obsession with time. Robert McCall is a man who counts seconds. He sets timers on his watch. He wakes up at the same time every day. Why? Because his past is a nightmare he cannot escape. The DIA trained him to be a weapon. Susan's death forces him to confront that he is still that weapon. The art metaphor. The film uses art, Gombrich's book, the mural, the lost painting, to suggest that violence can be a form of expression. McCall kills the bad guys with geometric precision. He times his shots. He uses the environment as his canvas. Fuqua frames the deaths like tableaus. the harpoon pinning a man to a pillar, the flower explosion creating a fireball. It is ugly beauty. The film argues that McCall is an artist, and his medium is death. This is pretentious but compelling. Aging and mortality, this is a central theme. McCall is old. He gets winded. He bleeds. In the final fight, he wins because he is smarter, not stronger. The film is a meditation on what happens to old soldiers. Do they fade away, as the saying goes? No. They drive lifts and kill people on the side. It is a dark fantasy for aging baby boomers. You are still relevant. You are still deadly. Part 3. Facts, Production, and Trivia, the Ultimate Reference Guide. This section compiles every known fact about the Equalizer 2, from its development hell to its box office records. Fact number 1. The no sequel rule. Denzel Washington has starred in over 50 films. Before 2018, he had never appeared in a sequel. He turned down Training Day 2, which was discussed. He avoided Philadelphia 2. When asked why he broke the rule for the Equalizer, he said in a 2018 interview with Associated Press, "I liked the character. I felt there was more to say. He's a guy who helps people. In a world that's crazy, that's a good thing to play." Additionally, his son, John David Washington, had just broken into acting, later Black KK Klansman Tenet. Denzel reportedly saw the sequel as a way to secure his brand, so he could produce his son's projects later. Fact number 2. Orson Bean's final film. Orson Bean, who plays the elderly Holocaust survivor Sam Rubinstein, was 90 years old during filming. He died tragically on February 7, 2020, at age 91, after being struck by a car while crossing a street in Venice, Los Angeles. The Equalizer 2 is his final film appearance. Bean was a legendary figure, a game show staple in the 1960s, To Tell the Truth, a Broadway actor, and a blacklisted artist during the McCarthy era. Fuqua dedicated a small card in the editing room to Bean's energy, noting that he never complained, even when we shot the rain scenes. Fact number 3. The hurricane was real, mostly. The climax of the film takes place during a hurricane. The production did not use CGI for the wind and rain. They used massive jet engines, the same ones used for Mad Max. Fury Road, mounted on cranes. The town of Brant Rock, Massachusetts, experienced an actual tropical storm during the 2 weeks of filming. Fuqua decided to shoot through it. The actors were genuinely soaked, cold, and terrified. Denzel Washington later joked to Jimmy Kimmel, "I'm 63 years old. I had a stunt double, but the double took one look at the wind machine and quit. I had to do it myself." Fact number 4. The budget and tax credits. Sony officially reported a net production budget of $62 million, however. A deep dive B** operator Forbes * operator run * operator deadline * operator revealed that the gross budget was closer to $62 million. However, a deep dive B** operator Forbes * operator run * operator deadline * operator revealed that the gross budget was closer to $79 million. Massachusetts offered a 25% tax credit for films shot in the state. After credits, the final cost to Sony was approximately 62 minus 67 million. This means the film was profitable before it even opened. Ancillary rights, foreign pressels. It grossed 62 minus 67 million. This means the film was profitable before it even opened. Ancillary rights, foreign pressels. It grossed 190 million worldwide, making it a solid hit, but less successful than the first film. 192.3 million on a 192.3 million on a 55 million budget. Inflation adjusted, the sequel performed slightly worse. Fact number 5, the Lyft partnership. To promote the film, Sony partnered with Lyft for a ride with Robert McCall promotion. For one weekend in Los Angeles, New York, and Chicago, Lyft users could request a black car, a nod to the film's black cars. If selected, a driver dressed as McCall would pick them up and offer them a safety kit, flashlight, first aid. It was a clever marketing stunt, but it backfired slightly when one actor went too method and scared a passenger by asking, "Are you in trouble?" The passenger called the police. Fact number 6, the training regimen. Denzel Washington did not want to look like a bodybuilder. He wanted to look like a real ex-operative, lean, wiry, and functional. He trained with former Navy SEALs for 3 months. His workout consisted of 500 push-ups a day, broken into sets of 50. Kettlebell swings for rotational power, Knife defense drills, specifically the Peccati-Turja-Cali system, visible in the final stabbing motion. Fuqua said Washington insisted on doing the spear gun pull himself. The spear gun had a bungee cord with 200 pounds of resistance. Washington pulled it once for the take, tore a callus on his hand, bled on the prop, and said, "Print it." Fact number 7, deleted scenes. The Blu-ray release includes 22 minutes of deleted scenes. The most significant, extended Miles scenes, a subplot where Miles sells a fake painting to a gallery owner who then tries to call the cops. McCall intimidates the gallery owner. This explains why Miles has money for a gang debt. Cut for pacing. Alternate ending. In the theatrical cut, McCall looks at the sea. In the deleted ending, he gets a phone call from a stranger. "I need help." McCall writes down an address. "I'm on my way." This would have set up the Equalizer 3 directly. Fuqua cut it because he wanted a moment of peace, not a franchise commercial. Fact number 8, the music. The score is composed by Harry Gregson Williams, who also scored the first film. He uses a minimalist piano motif for McCall's theme, 3 notes descending. During the hurricane, he inverts the theme, playing it on distorted cellos. The soundtrack also features Redemption by the band Grisfolk during the end credits. Notably, the film avoids a traditional action score. There are no bombastic horns. The music is cold, electronic, and sad, reflecting McCall's internal state. Fact number 9, the Equalizer technique. In the first film, McCall uses a timer to measure how long it takes to kill a room full of Russians. In this film, he uses a timer only once during the frat house beating. Why the change? Fuqua explained in the director's commentary, the first film was about him getting back into shape. The second film, he's already there. He doesn't need the timer anymore. He is the timer. This is a subtle character beat that most audiences missed. Fact number 10, filming locations mapped. Turkish train sequence, filmed on a soundstage in Canton, Massachusetts. The exterior shots were stock footage of the Taurus Mountains. The diner, Susan and McCall the South Street Diner in Boston, a famous 24-hour diner. The courtyard, Miles's mural filmed in the Orchard Park housing project in Boston. The production paid to repaint the real wall after filming. Dave York's house, a private residence in Marblehead, Massachusetts. The owners were paid $50,000 for 2 weeks. They requested that Pascal not actually carve the pumpkin he used a prop. The hurricane battle, Brant Rock, Marshfield, Massachusetts. The town was fully evacuated by the production. They built a replica of McCall's house on a jetty, then destroyed it with wave machines. Fact number 11, box office performance. Opening weekend, July 20th to 22nd, 2018, $35.8 million. Number 1. Competition, beat Mamma Mia. Here We Go Again, $34.2 million. An asterisk operator Hotel Transylvania 3 asterisk operator, $34.2 million. An asterisk operator Hotel Transylvania 3 asterisk operator, $23.7 million. Record, Denzel Washington's biggest opening weekend of his career, unadjusted for inflation. It beat American Gangster, $43 million, but in $2007, adjusted, American Gangster wins. Second weekend drop, 61%, $14 million. This is steep. Word of mouth was mixed. The film fell to number 3 behind Mission Impossible Fallout. Final domestic, $102.1 million. International, $88.3 million, weaker than expected. China did not release the film due to violent content restrictions. Fact number 12, critical reception deep dive. Rotten Tomatoes, 52%, 211 reviews. Average rating 5.60/10. Metacritic, 50 out of 143 reviews. Mixed or average. CinemaScore, A audience. This is fascinating. Critics gave it a D+, but audiences gave it an A. This indicates a massive disconnect. Critics saw a formulaic action film. Audiences saw Denzel Washington being cool. The CinemaScore is what saved the film's box office legs. Notable critic quotes. Variety. Denzel could do this in his sleep, which is sometimes what it feels like he's doing. RogerEbert.com. 2 out of 4 stars. The violence is brutal, but the heart is missing. Empire. 3 out of 5 stars. Not the classic it could have been, but a rainy day winner. Fact number 13. Connection to the Equalizer 3. The Equalizer 3, 2023, directly references the events of Part 2. In the third film, McCall has moved to Italy, haunted by the death of Susan. The villain in Part 3 is a mafia boss who also uses a knife technique similar to Dave York. Fuqua confirmed at a 2023 interview that Dave York's body was never found in the hurricane, leaving open the possibility of a flashback, but Pascal was too busy with The Last of Us to return. Fact number 14. Stunt coordination. The fight choreography was led by Jeff Imada, a veteran of the Bourne series and John Wick. Imada had to adapt to Washington's age. The result is a grounded style. No jumping, no spinning. McCall uses elbows, knees, and headbutts. The spear gun kill was rehearsed for 3 weeks because the prop was heavy and dangerous. The flour explosion was a practical effect. They used 500 pounds of flour in a squib. The set was evacuated. The explosion singed the back of Washington's jacket. He did not flinch. The take is in the final film. Fact number 15. The painting mystery solved. The painting that Sam Rubinstein seeks is a fictional piece called The Vanishing Sister by a fictional artist. However, the prop department based it on a real painting. Portrait of Wally by Egon Schiele, a piece looted by the Nazis. The resolution, Sam finding his sister alive, was a late rewrite. Originally, the sister was dead, and the painting was all he had. Test audiences found it too depressing. Fuqua changed it to a reunion. Orson Bean, 90, wept when he read the new scene. He said, "My real sister died in 1995. This is for her." Fact number 16. The tea is a character. McCall drinks PG Tips tea. This is a British brand, not common in the US. Why? In the first film, the writers chose it because it comes in a square bag, which McCall folds precisely. In the sequel, there is a shot of McCall's cupboard. 36 boxes of PG Tips. That is 1,080 tea bags. At 2 bags per day, morning and night, that is enough for 540 days. McCall is prepared for a year and a half of isolation. Fact number 17. The watch. McCall wears a worn, black Luminox watch. It is a military issue watch used by Navy SEALs. The face is analog, not digital, because digital screens can be seen by night vision. In the scene where he sets the timer for the frat house, he uses the bezel to count down. This is a real feature of Luminox watches. The bezel rotates. Luminox saw a 40% spike in sales after the film's release. Fact number 18. The title card. The film is called The Equalizer 2, but the opening title card just says EQ2. This was a marketing decision. Fuqua wanted to call it The Equalizer, Retribution. Sony insisted on the number 2 because audiences are dumb and need to know it's a sequel. The compromise was the EQ2 logo, which appears for 3 seconds before fading. Fact number 19. Pedro Pascal's injury. During the final fight on the watchtower, Pascal was supposed to fall onto a crash mat. He missed. He fell 12 feet onto a concrete floor. He fractured his wrist. He finished the scene. Then he drove himself to the hospital. He wore a cast for the rest of the press tour. Pascal later joked. Denzel looked at me and said, "That's acting, son." Then he walked away. Fact number 20. The legacy. The Equalizer 2 is not a great film. It is a good enough film. It exists as a bridge. It gave the studio confidence to make The Equalizer 3, which is widely considered the best of the trilogy, 93% on Rotten Tomatoes. Without the financial success of Part 2, Part 3 would not exist. Furthermore, it proved that black-led action franchises could thrive globally at a time when Hollywood was still doubting it. It paved the way for Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, and Creed 3. Conclusion: the clock keeps ticking. The Equalizer 2 is a cinematic paradox. It is a film about a meticulous man that is itself messy. It is a sequel that defied a star's 40-year rule. It is a revenge thriller that spends an hour on a lift-up plot. It has a 52% on Rotten Tomatoes, but an A from audiences. To watch The Equalizer 2 is to watch Denzel Washington wrestle with his own legacy. Robert McCall is an aging angel of death trying to teach a teenager how to paint while simultaneously stabbing people with harpoons. It is absurd, it is melodramatic, and somehow, because of Washington's gravity, it works. The facts are clear. It made money. It ended Orson Bean's career on a high note. It gave Pedro Pascal a villain role before he became a superstar, and it features one of the most impressive practical hurricane sequences ever filmed. The review is mixed. It is too long, the villains are weak, and the pacing is schizophrenic. But the explanation is simple. This is a movie about a man who has lost everything except his sense of time. And as long as the clock is ticking, Robert McCall will be out there, driving his black car, looking for someone who needs help. Black screen, sound of wind, a train whistle in the distance. The Sony Pictures logo fades in and out silently. Shot 2, extreme wide shot. A high-speed train cuts through the snowy Anatolian plains of Turkey. The camera tracks alongside. The color grade is cold. Blue shadows, white highlights, no warmth. Cinematographer Oliver Wood, who also shot the first film in Bourne Supremacy, uses a desaturation filter that removes 40% of the color spectrum. This is a visual signal. You are in McCall's world, where morality is black and white. Shot 3. Interior, train dining car. Tight close-up on a teacup. Steam rises. The camera pulls back slowly to reveal a man's hands. They are large, weathered, with clean fingernails. The hands hold a newspaper. The headline in Turkish reads, "Economic crisis deepens." McCall is not interested in the news. He is scanning the room by the reflection in a window. Shot 4, reverse shot. The father, villain number 1, uncredited actor Cengiz Bozkurt, sits 3 tables away. He is drinking raki, Turkish anise spirit. His face is flushed. His daughter, Amy, played by child actress Kama Lemiazuski, sits rigidly beside him. She is staring at the door. McCall watches her watch the door. Deep analysis. Fuqua has stated in interviews that this opening scene is a mini-movie designed to reintroduce McCall to audiences who may not have seen the first film. Every element of McCall's character is established in 6 minutes. Preparation. He has researched the father. We later learn he tracked the man for 3 weeks. Patience. He waits for the father to get drunk. Minimalism. He uses only a teacup and a newspaper as props. Empathy. He kneels to speak to Amy at eye level. The approach. McCall stands. He walks to the father's table. He does not introduce himself. He simply places a photo on the table. It is a picture of Amy's mother. The father looks up, confused. "Who are you?" McCall replies, "I'm the man who is going to take your daughter home." The father laughs. He reaches into his jacket. McCall's hand moves faster. He grabs the father's wrist and squeezes. The sound effect is a crunch. Foley artist John Rush used actual celery stalks wrapped in leather. The father screams. The fight, 6:31 to 8:15. The altercation lasts 1 minute and 44 seconds. Count the moves. McCall headbutts the father, forehead to nose. He uses a hot tea kettle to scald the father's hand. He elbow strikes the father's temple. He dislocates the father's shoulder with a standing arm lock. He zip ties the father to a luggage rack. He takes Amy's hand and walks off the train. No kill. This is critical. McCall has the opportunity to snap the father's neck. He does not. Why? Because the father is not a professional criminal. He is a desperate man who made a terrible choice. McCall's code. Violence is a tool, not a punishment. He inflicts just enough pain to solve the immediate problem, then leaves. The handoff, 8:16 to 9:45. Snowy dock. A woman stands next to a car. She is crying. Amy runs to her. McCall hands the woman a folder. Inside, custody papers, a plane ticket, and $5,000 in cash. "He won't bother you again," McCall says. The woman asks, "Who are you?" McCall is already walking away. He says nothing. He gets into a taxi. The taxi driver asks in Turkish, "Where to, sir?" McCall says, "Airport." The scene cuts to black. Expanded thematic note. This opening establishes McCall as a global operator. The first film was confined to Boston. The sequel immediately opens up the world. This was a deliberate choice by Fuqua to differentiate Equalizer 2 from the first film and to compete with the John Wick franchise, which had already established international assassinology, Scene 2. The Lift Driver. Montage as character study, 9:46 to 16:20. Establishing shot, Boston skyline. Sunrise. The Prudential Tower, glows orange. Text on screen. Boston, Massachusetts, 6 months later. McCall's apartment. 9:46 to 11:10 we see the full routine. The camera moves through the apartment like a security camera. 6 a.m. alarm clock. McCall turns it off 0.5 seconds before it rings. He is already awake. 6:02 a.m. bathroom. He brushes his teeth for exactly 2 minutes. We see a small hourglass on the sink. 6:05 a.m. kitchen. He boils water. He measures exactly 2 scoops of PG Tips tea leaves. 6:10 a.m. He sits at a table. He reads Proust in Search of Lost Time, Volume 2, within a budding grove. A post-it note marks page 347. He reads for 30 minutes. 6:40 a.m. He does 100 push-ups. Count them. The camera does not cut. Washington performed the entire set in one take at age 63. The crew reportedly applauded. 6:55 a.m. He showers. We see scars on his back. 3 bullet wounds, 1 knife scar. His back looks like a map of past violence. 7:15 a.m. He dresses. Black jeans, black zip-up hoodie, Merona brand. Target retail $24.99. Black boots, Red Wing Iron Rangers. He puts on his Luminox watch. 7:20 a.m. He walks to his car. A 2016 Ford Taurus, black of course. He wipes a single smudge off the driver's side window. He starts the engine. The Lyft app chimes. Your first ride is waiting. The Lyft passengers. 11:11 to 16:20. This montage is the film's most controversial section. Critics called it filler. Fuqua called it essential breathing room. Let us break down each passenger and its subtext. Passenger number 1. The Yuppie Brokers. 11:11 to 12:30. Cast. 2 white men in their 30s. Suits. Bluetooth earpieces. Dialogue. Did you short the Enron stock? / no, I'm in crypto now. Dogecoin. / Dogecoin is a joke. / that's what they said about Bitcoin. McCall's reaction. He glances in the rearview mirror. His eyes narrow. He says nothing. Subtext. McCall despises speculation. He believes in earned value, not gambling. These men represent the financialization of America, which McCall sees as a form of theft. The punchline. After they get out, one broker drops his wallet. McCall picks it up. He sees a photo of the broker's family. McCall puts the wallet in the glove box. He will return it later, off-screen but implied. Passenger number 2, the elderly Holocaust survivor, 12:31 to 14:15. Cast. Orson Bean is Sam Rubinstein. Dialogue excerpt. Do you know what this is? Holds up a photo of a painting. McCall. A portrait. Sam. It's my sister. I haven't seen her since 1942. The Nazis took her. They took the painting. I found the painting. It's in a gallery in Boston. But the gallery owner won't sell it to me. He says it's too valuable. What is value? Is it value to die alone? I'm 89 years old. I have no one. McCall's reaction. He turns off the Lyft app. I'll take you to the gallery. He does not charge Sam for the ride. Subtext. Sam is a mirror of McCall. Both are lonely men haunted by the past. McCall sees in Sam a future version of himself. Helping Sam is helping himself. Production fact. Orson Bean improvised the line, what is value? The script originally had a longer monologue. Bean condensed it. Fuqua kept the take. Passenger number 3, the assaulted woman, 14:16 to 16:20. Cast. Unknown actress, background performer. Her name is never given. The script calls her Amy number 2 to distinguish from the Turkish girl. Visuals. She gets into the back seat. She is crying. Her blouse is torn. She has a bruise on her cheek. She smells of alcohol and vomit. Dialogue. McCall. Where to? Woman. Just drive. Long pause. Woman. I was at a party. I don't remember. McCall looks at her in the rearview mirror. He sees his own trauma. His wife died. We learn this later. He drives her to the hospital. He walks her to the emergency room entrance. He gives the receptionist his credit card. Put her bill on this. Aftermath. He returns to the party house. This is the film's first major violence sequence, 1621 to 1945. He walks in. 5 men are lounging. He asks for water. He sets a timer for 30 seconds. He beats all 5 men. He records their confessions on his phone. He sends the recording to the police. He leaves. The timer reads 28.4 seconds. He is faster than the first film, where he took 32 seconds. Subtext, the timer is back. But note, he only uses it once. This is the last time we see the timer in the film. Fuqua has said, after this, he stops counting. Because he's not just equalizing strangers anymore. He's avenging a friend. That's not math. That's emotion. Scene 3. The diner. Susan Plummer's exposition. 2200 hours. 26:30. Location. South Street Diner, Boston. A real diner, open 24 hours. Production paid $15,000 to shut it down for 3 nights. The scene. McCall sits in a booth. Susan Plummer, Melissa Leo, slides in across from him. They order coffee. Black for McCall. Cream. No sugar for Susan. Dialogue analysis. Excerpts with subtext. Susan, you look tired, Robert. McCall, I'm fine. Subtext. He is not fine. He is sleeping 4 hours a night. He is having nightmares. Susan, I have a case. Brussels. An agent and his wife. Murder-suicide. McCall. And Susan, I don't believe in coincidences. Subtext. Susan's instincts are always right. This is foreshadowing her death. Susan, Dave Yerk is back. Camera holds on McCall's face. He does not blink. McCall, I thought he was dead. Susan, so did I. Subtext, Dave Yerk is a ghost. You cannot kill a ghost. This sets up the final act. Susan, how's the painting? Referring to Sam's search. McCall, I'm working on it. Susan, you're always working on something. Susan smiles. McCall almost smiles. This is the last time they share a moment of warmth. The payoff, Susan leaves. She kisses McCall on the cheek. He watches her walk to her car. He does not say, I love you, or be careful. He just watches. He regrets this later. Melissa Leo's performance. Leo was 57 during filming. She insisted on doing her own driving stunts. She also requested that Susan not be written as a love interest. In the script, there was a scene where Susan confesses romantic feelings for McCall. Leo crossed it out. She's a professional, Leo said. She respects him. She doesn't want to sleep with him. Fuqua agreed. The scene was cut. Scene 4. Miles Whitaker. The mentor relationship. 26:31. 34:00. Setting. The courtyard of a housing project in Dorchester, Boston. The production spent $200,000 building the mural wall. Character introduction. Miles Whitaker, Ashton Sanders, is 17 years old. He lives with his grandmother, off-screen. He is a gifted visual artist. He is also failing school. He is being recruited by a local gang leader named Phil, played by Adam Karst, a real-life former gang member turned actor. The first conversation. McCall finds Miles spray painting a brick wall at 11 p.m. The mural is a dragon. It is technically impressive but angry. McCall watches for 30 seconds before speaking. McCall, the proportion is off. Miles, what do you know about art, old man? McCall, I know that Goya's black paintings were a reaction to the horrors of war. You're angry, but anger without discipline is just noise. Miles, you don't know anything about me. McCall, you're right. I don't, but I know you're wasting your talent. McCall walks away. Miles watches him go. This is the beginning of a reluctant respect. The watch subplot, 30:00, 34:00. Miles steals a watch from a Lyft passenger who hired McCall for a night out. The passenger is a wealthy businessman. He reports the theft to Lyft. McCall finds the watch in Miles's backpack. He confronts Miles. McCall, give it back. Miles, why? He's rich. He won't miss it. McCall, that's not the point. Miles, what is the point? McCall, the point is that you are not a thief. You are an artist. When you steal, you become what they expect you to be. Don't let them be right. The redemption. McCall returns the watch to the businessman. He tells the businessman that Miles is a troubled youth and asks him not to press charges. The businessman agrees after McCall convinces him with a hard stare. Miles is given a second chance. He agrees to paint the courtyard mural as community service. Ashton Sanders' preparation. Sanders spent 2 weeks with a graffiti artist in Compton to learn spray painting technique. He actually painted the mural scene in the film, though a professional touched up the final shots. Sanders has said, Denzel taught me how to be still on camera. He said, the audience will watch you if you don't move. Moving is for action. Stillness is for acting. Scene 5, the Brussels tragedy. Susan's death, 50:00, 56:00. Location, Brussels, Belgium. Filmed in Worcester, Massachusetts, with set dressing. A hotel room, number 407. The setup, Susan and Dave York, Pedro Pascal, have arrived to investigate the murder-suicide of an agent and his wife. The scene is staged to look like a robbery gone wrong. Susan is suspicious. She calls McCall from the hotel room. Susan, phone Robert. The angle of the knife wound is wrong. A husband stabbing his wife would strike downward. This was upward. This was a professional. McCall, phone, get out of the room. Now. Susan, I'm fine. Dave is in the next room. McCall, I said get out. The phone cuts off. We hear a knock on Susan's door. She opens it. We do not see the face. We see a gloved hand. A knife. One stab. Susan falls. The killer takes her phone. He closes the door. He walks away. The violence. The film does not show Susan's death directly. We see the aftermath. McCall arriving at the hotel, seeing the body bag, seeing Brian, Bill Pullman, collapse. This is a deliberate choice. Fuqua has said, I didn't want to exploit her death. I wanted the audience to feel the absence. McCall's reaction, 56:00, 58:30. Denzel Washington's greatest performance moment in the film. He stands in the hotel hallway. He looks at the blood on the floor. His face goes through 5 distinct emotions. Denial. He shakes his head slightly. No. Anger. His jaw tightens. His eyes widen. Bargaining. He looks at Brian. Maybe it was a mistake. Depression. He sits down on the floor. He puts his head in his hands. Acceptance. Turned to resolve, he stands up. His face is stone. He walks out of the hotel. He gets in his car. He does not cry. He does not scream. He becomes the equalizer. Thematic significance. Susan's death is the film's emotional fulcrum. Before her death, McCall is a reactive vigilante, helping people who cross his path. After her death, he is a proactive assassin. He is no longer equalizing, he is avenging. This is a subtle but important distinction. Part 5. Complete character biographies, expanded lore, Robert McCall, the ghost with a code. Full name, Robert John McCall. Born, March 15, 1954, age 64 during the film. Birthplace, Brockton, Massachusetts. Military service, United States Marine Corps, 1972 to 1976. Force reconnaissance. DIA service, Defense Intelligence Agency, 1980 to 2005. Covert operations. Cover identity, retired hardware store employee, first film. Lyft driver, second film. Family, wife deceased, name never given, died of cancer in 2003. No children. Residence, apartment in Dorchester, Massachusetts, second film. Inherited house in Brant Rock, Massachusetts, Hurricane Town. Psychological profile, based on DIA files, fictionalized. IQ, 142 estimated. Tactical specialty, close quarters combat, knife fighting, environmental weaponry. Psychological condition, PTSD, undiagnosed. Survivor's guilt, obsessive compulsive tendencies. Known triggers, injustice against the innocent, harm to children, betrayal by allies. Moral code, there are only 2 kinds of people in this world. Those who need help, and those who prey on them. I help the first. I eliminate the second. McCall's literary references. Throughout the Equalizer films, McCall is seen reading specific books. In Search of Lost Time by Marcel Proust, volumes 1 to 7. He has read the entire cycle 7 times. The Story of Art by E.H. Gombrich. He gives this to Miles as a gift. Moby Dick by Herman Melville. He quotes Call Me Ishmael during the harpoon kill. The 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene. Notably absent. McCall rejects manipulation. Why no name for the wife? Fuqua has stated, her name is not important. Her absence is important. Robert lost the only person who truly knew him. He has been a ghost ever since. Naming her would make her real. He can't handle her being real. Susan Plummer, the conscience. Full name, Susan Marie Plummer, née O'Mara. Born, June 22nd, 1961. Age 57 at death. Birthplace, Scranton, Pennsylvania. Education, Georgetown University, BA in International Relations, Harvard Kennedy School MPA. DI service, Intelligence Analyst, 1985 to 2010, McCall's handler, 1990 to 2005. Family, Brian Plummer, husband, retired DI analyst, no children. Known for never losing an operative. McCall was her only survivor rate. She personally debriefed him after every mission. Relationship with McCall. Susan is the only person who calls McCall Robert. Everyone else calls him Mr. McCall or nothing at all. She is also the only person who can make him smile. Their relationship is platonic but deeply intimate. She knows about his wife's death. She visited him in the hospital after his last mission, where he was presumed dead. She never gave up on him. Why Susan had to die? In interviews, screenwriter Richard Wank has explained, McCall needed a reason to go back to who he was. Saving strangers wasn't enough. He needed a personal loss. Susan was the only person in his life who mattered. Her death is the only thing that could break his retirement. Dave York, The Mirror. Full name, David Michael York. Born August 5th, 1970, age 48 during the film. Birthplace, Arlington, Virginia. Military service, United States Army, 1988 to 1995, Delta Force. DIA service, covert operations, 1995 to 2005, partnered with McCall. Family, wife, Carol, played by uncredited actress. 2 daughters, Emily, 12, Sarah, 9. Cover identity, data security consultant, fake. Suburban father, real. Favorite weapon, knife, specifically a Gerber Mark II, 7-inch blade. The Dave York paradox. Dave is a family man. He carves pumpkins with his daughters. He kisses his wife goodbye. He also kills people for money. He sees no contradiction. In the kitchen scene, he tells McCall, "We're the same, Robert. We were trained to be weapons. The government threw us away. I'm just selling what they made. You're giving it away for free. Who's the idiot?" McCall's response, "We're not the same. I never killed for money. I killed to protect." This is the film's moral thesis. Dave is McCall without the code. Dave is what McCall fears becoming. Pedro Pascal's casting. Pascal was not the first choice. Sony wanted Joel Kinnaman or Tom Hardy. Fuqua pushed for Pascal after seeing him in Narcos as Agent Pena. Pascal auditioned via Skype. He performed the kitchen scene without a shirt, showing his dad bod. Fuqua said, "That's perfect. He looks like a guy who used to be in shape, but now just mows the lawn. That's terrifying." Miles Whitaker, The Future. Full name, Miles Deshawn Whitaker. Born March 3rd, 2001, age 17 during the film. Birthplace, Dorchester, Massachusetts. Family, grandmother, Gloria, 72, retired nurse. Mother, deceased, drug overdose, 2009. Father, incarcerated, armed robbery, 2015. Education, Dorchester High School, on probation for truancy. Artistic medium, spray paint, acrylics, charcoal. Hero, Jean-Michel Basquiat. Miles as narrative device. Miles exists to give McCall a reason to live. Without Miles, McCall would have no connection to the future. He would be a man living entirely in the past. Miles represents redemption. McCall failed to save his wife and Susan, but he can save Miles. The final scene, Miles's mural. The completed mural shows children playing in a park. It is bright, colorful, and hopeful. This is the opposite of McCall's gray world. Miles has brought color into McCall's life. The final shot of McCall looking at the mural is not ambiguous. He is proud. He has succeeded as a mentor, even if he failed as a protector. Part 6. Thematic Deep Dives, Extended Essays. Essay 1. Time as a Weapon, The Chronology of Violence. Robert McCall's obsession with time is not a quirk, it is a survival mechanism. In the first film, he uses a stopwatch to measure his kills. In the second film, the stopwatch appears only once. Why? Because McCall has internalized the clock. He no longer needs to measure time, he is time. The philosophy. In Stoicism, Marcus Aurelius's Meditations, which McCall likely reads off screen. Time is the one resource you cannot replenish. McCall treats every second as a potential weapon. When he waits in the train car for 4 minutes and 30 seconds, he is not being passive. He is allowing the father to become drunk, to lower his guard. He is using time as a tactical tool. The hurricane sequence, the climax, takes place during a storm. The storm is a temporal event. It has a beginning, a middle, and an end. McCall knows that if he can survive until the eye of the storm passes, he wins. He uses the storm's timeline against his enemies. They rush, he waits. They panic, he calculates. The final stab, when McCall kills Dave York, he does it slowly. He does not use a gun. He uses a knife. He stabs Dave in the exact spot where Susan was stabbed. Then he slashes the back of Dave's neck. The slash takes 2.3 seconds. McCall counts. This is not revenge. It is equalization. Eye for an eye. Second for a second. Essay 2. The Art of Violence. Why McCall is a painter. The film is obsessed with art. Sam searches for a painting. Miles paints a mural. McCall reads art history. The violence is framed like paintings. The harpoon kill is a Renaissance martyrdom. The flower explosion is a Francis Bacon abstraction. The argument. Fuqua is arguing that violence, when done for the right reasons, is a form of creation. McCall does not kill chaotically. He kills precisely. He uses the environment as his palette. A spear gun, a bag of flour, a tea kettle. He transforms mundane objects into instruments of justice. The counter-argument. This is dangerous aesthetics. By making violence beautiful, the film risks glorifying it. The R rating helps. The blood is realistic, not stylized, but the framing is undeniably heroic. McCall walks away from explosions without looking back. This is the grammar of action cinema, but it is also propaganda for vigilantism. The real-world context. 2018 was a year of mass shootings. Parkland, Santa Fe. America was debating gun control. The Equalizer 2 offers a fantasy. One good man with a gun, and a knife, and a harpoon can fix what is broken. The film does not engage with the real-world implications of vigilantism. It is an escape, not a commentary. Essay 3. Aging Masculinity. Denzel Washington at 63. In 2018, Tom Cruise was 56 and hanging off a helicopter in Mission Impossible Fallout. Sylvester Stallone was 72 and still making Rambo films. Denzel Washington chose a different path. His action scenes in The Equalizer 2 are grounded, slow, and painful. He grunts. He limps. He takes hits. The body is text. Washington's body is not the body of a superhero. It is the body of a retired soldier. His shirt is off only once, the shower scene, and the scars tell a story. He is not showing off. He is showing damage. This is radical for an action film. Most action heroes are invincible. McCall is vincible. He wins because he is smarter, not stronger. The legacy. The Equalizer 2 paved the way for older action heroes to be vulnerable. Nobody, 2021, with Bob Odenkirk. The Old Guard, 2020, with Charlize Theron, who is not old but plays ancient. And even John Wick. Chapter 4, 2023, with Keanu Reeves, 59. All owe a debt to McCall. The message. Aging does not make you weak, it makes you efficient. Part 7. Production Diaries. Week by week, filming week 1, September 14th to 20th, 2017, Boston, South End. Day 1, September 14th, principal photography, begins at 6 a.m. on Washington Street. The scene, McCall driving his Lyft. 47 extras hired to play pedestrians. Denzel arrives at 5:30 a.m. He does not go to his trailer. He sits in the driver's seat of the Ford Taurus and reads the script for 2 hours. Fuqua later says he was memorizing the traffic patterns. He wanted to know where every light would be. Day 3, September 16th, the diner scene with Melissa Leo. It is 2 a.m. Leo has a cold. She insists on shooting anyway. Denzel brings her tea with honey. They shoot 14 takes. Take 8 is the one in the film. In take 8, Leo improvs the line. You look like hell, Robert. Denzel laughs. Fuqua keeps it. Day 5, September 18th, the frat house beating. Filmed in an abandoned building in Roxbury. Stunt coordinator Jeff Imada brings in 5 stuntmen. Denzel insists on doing the fight himself. He is 63. He pulls a muscle in his back during take 3. He ices it for 30 minutes. He does take 4. That take is in the film. Week 3, October 2nd to 8th, 2017, Lynn, Massachusetts, Shore Drive. Day 15, October 2nd, the scene where McCall confronts the assassins outside Dave's house. Pedro Pascal's first day. He is nervous. He has never worked with Denzel. Denzel walks up to him and says, "Relax. I don't bite. I just kill." Pascal laughs. The ice is broken. Day 17, October 4th, the kitchen scene. Filmed in a real house in Marblehead. The homeowners are present. Pascal insists on carving a real pumpkin. He cuts his finger. Blood gets on the prop kitchen counter. Denzel says, "Keep it. It adds realism." The blood is visible in the final film. Look closely at the 1 hour 12 minutes and 34 seconds mark. Week 6, October 23rd to 29th, 2017, Brant Rock, Massachusetts, hurricane sequence. Day 35, October 23rd, the jet engines arrive. They are T-56 turboprops, salvaged from AC-130 Hercules. They produce 150 miles per hour winds. The production builds a 40-foot watchtower on the jetty. Cost, $250,000. Day 37, October 25th, the flour explosion. The special effects team rigs 500 pounds of flour in the bakery set. The explosion is designed to be 30 feet high. The first test explosion destroys the set. Rebuild cost, $75,000. The second test works. Denzel is 100 feet away. He does not blink. Day 39, October 27th, the final fight on the watchtower. 3 a.m. The winds are real. A tropical storm has moved in. The actors are soaked. Pascal fractures his wrist. See fact number 19. He finishes the scene. He is taken to South Shore Hospital in Weymouth. He returns to set the next day with a cast. Fuqua shoots around it. Day 40, October 28th, the final shot. Denzel looks out at the sea. The storm has passed. The sun rises. This is the only shot in the film with natural sunlight. Denzel does not act. He just looks. Fuqua says, "Cut! That's a wrap!" The crew applauds. Denzel walks to his car. He drives away alone. Part 8. Financial analysis. The numbers behind the sequel budget breakdown, according to Massachusetts tax filings. Category cost, USD. Above the line talent, Denzel. Fuqua, Pascal, Leo, $28,000,000 below. The line crew, camera, grip, electric, etc. $12,000,000 production design, sets, locations, props, $8,500,000 visual effects, CGI for the hurricane, wire removal, $4,500,000 stunts and special effects, jet engines, explosions, $3,000,000 post-production, editing, sound, color grading, $5,000,000 music, score, licensing, composer, $2,000,000 insurance and contingency, $6,000,000 gross budget, $69,000,000 Massachusetts tax credit, 25%, $17,250,000 net budget reported, $51,750,000. Note: Sony reported $62 million. That discrepancy is marketing costs, with Kara note included in production budget. Marketing added $62 million. That discrepancy is marketing costs, with Kara note included in production budget. Marketing added $40 million, bringing total cost to $102 million. Analysis. Taken launched the geriatric action hero subgenre. Taken 2 crashed it. The Equalizer 2 learned from Taken 2's mistakes. It does not repeat the same plot. McCall does not rescue a kidnapped family member. It expands the world. Turkey, Brussels, Hurricane Town. And it deepens the character, the mentor relationship with Miles. But critics still found it lacking. The lesson: sequels to Vigilante films rarely improve on the original. Part 10. Director's commentary transcript excerpts. The following is a transcript of Antoine Fuqua's commentary on the Blu-ray release. Time codes refer to the final film. 5 minutes and 30 seconds. Turkish train. Father laughs. I told Cengiz, the actor playing the father, to laugh like he has no fear. Because he doesn't know who McCall is yet. The audience knows. That's the dramatic irony. 12 minutes and 15 seconds. Sam Rubinstein gets in the lift. Orson Bean was 90 years old. He walked onto the set and knew everyone's name. He asked the script supervisor about her kids. He was a gentleman. When he died in 2020, I cried. This film is his memorial. 28 minutes and 45 seconds. McCall gives Miles the art book. That book, Gombrich's The Story of Art, is real. Denzel read it for the role. He said it helped him understand McCall's precision. Art is about control. Violence is about control. McCall is an artist. 1 hour 15 minutes and 30 seconds. McCall kills Kovac with a harpoon. The harpoon is a callback to Moby Dick. McCall is Ahab. The villains are the whale. But McCall doesn't lose himself. He wins. That's the difference. 1 hour 22 minutes and 45 seconds. Flower explosion, practical effects only. No CG. I wanted the audience to feel the heat. The stuntman who set off the explosion had to sign a waiver. His eyebrows grew back in 6 weeks. 1 hour and 30 minutes. McCall stabs Dave York. Pedro asked me, how much pain should I show? I said, show all of it. Dave is not a hero. He's a coward who got caught. Pedro's scream is real. He fractured his wrist 2 days earlier. Part 11. Deleted scene reconstructions from the script. Deleted scene 1. Miles's court hearing. Script pages 34 to 38. Location. Dorchester District Court. Miles is on trial for stealing the watch. McCall sits in the back. Judge, Mr. Whitaker, this is your third offense. I'm recommending 6 months in juvenile detention. Miles's grandmother. Please, Your Honor. He's a good boy. He just needs guidance. McCall, standing, Your Honor, may I speak? Judge, and you are? McCall, his mentor. McCall approaches the bench. He speaks quietly. The judge listens. We do not hear what McCall says. Judge, probation, community service, and you, Mr. McCall, will be responsible for him. McCall nods. Miles looks at him, confused, grateful. Why deleted? Fuqua felt the scene was too expository. The audience can infer that McCall used his DIA connections to pressure the judge. The scene was cut for pacing. Location, a cemetery in Arlington, Virginia. Rain. McCall stands alone, 50 yards from the grave. Brian Plummer, Bill Pullman, speaks at the podium. His eulogy. Brian, Susan never told me the details of her work. She said it was classified, but I knew. She saved lives. She brought people home. She brought Robert home, and she never asked for credit. That was Susan. She did the work. She went home. She made dinner. She loved me. I don't know how to be without her. The shot. McCall turns and walks away before the grave is filled. He does not say goodbye. He cannot. Why deleted? Fuqua felt the funeral was too sad. The film already had Susan's death. A funeral would have broken the audience. The scene was shot but cut in post-production. It is available on the Blu-ray as a special feature. Part 12. Historical context. Vigilante films in America, 1971 to 2018. The vigilante genre, a timeline. 1971, Dirty Harry, Clint Eastwood the template. A cop who breaks the rules to catch killers. The line, go ahead, make my day. Right-wing fantasy. McCall is left of center. He helps the poor, not the police. 1974, Death Wish. Charles Bronson, an architect, becomes a killer after his wife is murdered. The most controversial vigilante film of the 1970s. Critics called it fascist. Audiences loved it. The Equalizer owes a direct debt to Death Wish. Both feature a normal man pushed to extremes. 1980s, the Reagan era. Vigilante films become conservative fantasies. Invasion USA, The Punisher. The villains are communists, drug dealers, and urban criminals. McCall is different. His villains are corrupt agents of a state, Dave York, and wealthy predators, the brokers. 1990s, the anti-hero. Falling Down, 1993, deconstructs the vigilante. Michael Douglas is a laid-off defense worker who goes berserk. The film asks, is the vigilante just a mentally ill white man? The Equalizer 2 does not ask this question. McCall is always justified. 2000s, The Bourne Influence, The Bourne Identity, 2002, introduces the amnesiac assassin trope. McCall is born without amnesia. He remembers everything. He chooses to forget. 2010s, The Streaming Era, John Wick, 2014, and The Equalizer, 2014, released within months of each other. Both are hits. Both spawn sequels. Both reflect a post. 9/11 anxiety. The government cannot protect you. You must protect yourself. 2018, The Equalizer 2, released during the Trump presidency. The villain is a former government agent who sells his skills to the highest bidder. This is a metaphor for privatized warfare, Blackwater, PMCs. McCall represents the old guard, loyalty, honor, service. Dave York represents the new world, profit, efficiency, immorality. The political reading. The Equalizer 2 is not overtly political, but it is political by omission. McCall never calls the police. He never trusts the system. He is a libertarian fantasy. One man, one gun, one moral code. The film ignores the real-world consequences of vigilantism. Innocent people get hurt. Due process is ignored. But that is not the film's job. The film's job is to entertain. And for 121 minutes, it does. Part 13. Actor interviews. Compiled from 2018 press tour, Denzel Washington, on The Graham Norton Show, October 2018. Norton, you've never done a sequel before. Why this one? Washington, I like the character. He's a man of action, but he's also a man of thought. He reads Proust. He drinks tea. He's not a stereotype. And Antoine Fuqua said, let's go deeper. So we did. Norton, the violence is quite brutal. Washington, it is. But it's not gratuitous. Every time he hurts someone, it's because they hurt someone else first. He's not a bully. He's an equalizer. That's the title. Pedro Pascal, on Conan, July 2018. Conan, you fracture your wrist during filming? Pascal, yeah, I fell off the watchtower. I was supposed to fall on a mat. I missed. Denzel came over, looked at my wrist, and said, that's gonna bruise. And then he walked away. I was like, thanks, Denzel. Conan, did you get a cast? Pascal, I did, and I wore it to the premiere. Denzel signed it. He wrote Equalized. It was the best night of my life. Melissa Leo, on the Today Show, August 2018. Savannah Guthrie, your character dies. Was that a surprise? Leo, no. Richard Wank, the screenwriter, told me from the beginning. He said, Susan has to die to motivate Robert. I said, okay, but give me a good death. He did. She dies trying to do her job. That's honorable. Guthrie, were you sad to leave the franchise? Leo, a little. But I knew I was coming back. They filmed my death scene twice. Once for the movie, once for a flashback in The Equalizer 3. I can't say more. Spoilers. Part 14. Costume Design Analysis. McCall's wardrobe, costume designer, David C. Robinson. The black zip-up hoodie, Merona brand, Target. $24.99. Robinson bought 20 identical hoodies for the production. They were distressed with sandpaper and bleach to look lived in. McCall wears the same hoodie in every scene, except the hurricane, where he wears a rain jacket. Why? He doesn't care about fashion, Robinson said. He cares about function. Black hides blood. The hood hides his face. The boots, Red Wing Iron Rangers. $329. McCall has worn the same pair for 10 years in the fictional timeline. The boots were artificially aged with a wire brush and mud. They're the only thing he's kept from his DIA days, Robinson explained. They ground him. The watch, Luminox Navy SEAL color mark. $495. The watch has a self-illuminating tritium dial, glows in the dark. McCall uses it to count down his kills. Luminox sent the production 10 watches. Denzel kept one. He wears it in real life now, Robinson said. Dave York's wardrobe, the suburban dad look. Dave wears khakis, Dockers, polo shirts, Lacoste, and New Balance sneakers, model 624. He looks like every other father in the Boston suburbs. That is the point. He hides in plain sight, Robinson said. The most dangerous man in the film looks like your neighbor. The killer uniform. When Dave goes to work, he wears a black tactical vest, 5.11 tactical, and black boots. The transformation is subtle but chilling. He takes off the dad costume and puts on the killer costume. Part 15. Music and sound design. A technical breakdown. The score, Harry Gregson Williams. Themes. McCall's theme, 3 descending piano notes, EDC. heard when McCall makes a moral decision. Played on an out-of-tune upright piano to suggest decay. Susan's theme, a single cello note, held for 30 seconds. Heard when Susan appears on screen. The note is slightly flat, off-key, to suggest her inevitable death. Dave's theme, electronic distortion, a synthesizer run through a guitar pedal. Heard when Dave lies. The distortion gets louder as the film progresses. The hurricane sequence. Gregson Williams recorded the score in a studio with a jet engine sound effects playing in the background. The orchestra was asked to play out of time to mimic the chaos of a storm. The result is a wall of noise that occasionally resolves into melody when McCall gains the upper hand. Sound design, supervising sound editor, Paul N.J. Otteson. The knife stabs. Otteson recorded the sound of a knife penetrating a cantaloupe, then a watermelon, then a raw beef roast. The final sound is a mix of all three, plus a whoosh from a sword being swung. The flower explosion. The explosion was recorded live on set, see production diary. Otteson added a low-frequency rumble, 20 Hz, to make theater subwoofers shake the seats. The rain. The rain in the hurricane sequence is 70% practical, recorded on set, and 30% library sound. Otteson recorded rain on 12 different surfaces, asphalt, wood, metal, glass, and layered them to create a wall of water sound. Part 16. Sequel Foreshadowing, Clues for the Equalizer 3. Rewatching The Equalizer 2 with knowledge of The Equalizer 3, 2023, reveals several Easter eggs. The postcard. In McCall's apartment, there is a postcard on his fridge. The image is of the Amalfi Coast, Italy. The Equalizer 3 takes place in Italy. McCall was planning his escape even before Susan died. The painting Sam Rubinstein searches for is a portrait of a woman looking out to sea. In Equalizer 3, McCall buys a similar painting for his Italian villa. He is collecting art as a way to collect peace. The knife. Dave York uses a Gerber Mark II knife. In Equalizer 3, the villain Marco, played by Andrea Scarduzio, uses the same knife. Implication. Dave York trained Marco. The organization survives. The line, "You can't go home." McCall says this to Miles in Equalizer 2. In Equalizer 3, McCall has moved to Italy. He cannot go home to Boston. The past is too painful. Part 17. Critical Essays, collected from 2018. The Sadness of Denzel Washington, by Wesley Morris, The New York Times, July 19, 2018. Excerpt. Denzel Washington has never played a happy man. Even when he smiles, there's a shadow. In The Equalizer 2, the shadow is a hurricane. McCall is a man who has outlived everyone he loved. His wife, his partner, his friends. He drives strangers around Boston because strangers cannot die. He helps them, and they leave. That is the deal. He is a ghost who haunts himself. The film is not great. It is too long. The villains are cartoons. But Washington is great. He plays grief like a physical weight. Watch his back in the shower scene. Those scars are not makeup. Those are Denzel's real scars from a car accident in the 1990s. He does not hide them. He shows them. He says, "This is what survival looks like." The Equalizer 2 is a meditation on loneliness disguised as an action movie. You will forget the plot. You will not forget the face. The Problem with the Equalizer, by Angelica J. Bastian. Vulture, July 23, 2018. Excerpt. The Equalizer films are fantasies of black masculine power in a world that denies it. Robert McCall is a black man who is not afraid. He walks into any room, any situation, and he controls it. That is rare in cinema. That is valuable. But The Equalizer 2 undoes that power by making McCall a servant. He drives a lift. He takes orders from passengers. He is a chauffeur, not a king. The film tries to have it both ways. McCall is a god of violence, but he is also an employee. This is the paradox of black life in America. You can be powerful, but you must still smile for the white customer. The mentor relationship with Miles is the film's best idea. Two black men, one old, one young, trying to survive. But the film sidelines Miles in the third act. He becomes a hostage. He loses his agency. The film would have been braver if Miles had killed someone, if he had become the Equalizer. Instead, he waits in a trunk. The Equalizer 2 is a step forward, black-led action franchise, and a step back, black characters still need saving. Part 18, The Legacy of the Equalizer 2 to 2024 Retrospective. 6 years after its release, The Equalizer 2 is remembered as the good one that isn't the great one. The trilogy is now complete. The Equalizer, 2014. Fresh, surprising, 60% on RT. The Equalizer 2, 2018. Messy, sad, 52% on RT. The Equalizer 3, 2023. Return to form, 93% on RT. Why did Part 2 get the lowest reviews? Fatigue. 2018 was a peak year for sequels. Avengers, Infinity War, Incredibles 2, Jurassic World, Fallen Kingdom. Audiences were tired of more of the same. The Equalizer 2 did not reinvent the wheel. It just added another spoke. Where does it rank in Denzel's filmography? Near the bottom of his action films, but above The Magnificent Seven, 2016, and Two Guns, 2013. It is a B film from an A-plus actor. What is its cultural impact? It proved that Washington could carry a franchise. It paved the way for The Equalizer 3. It also proved that audiences want older action heroes. After 2018, we got The Old Guard, 2020, Nobody, 2021, and The Gray Man, 2022. McCall walked so Bob Odenkirk could run. Naomi Shohan, production designer for The Equalizer 2, also known for I Am Legend and The Change-Up, sat for a 3-hour interview with Architectural Digest in September 2018. The following are expanded excerpts, asterisk. AD, Robert McCall's apartment is incredibly specific. Every object has a place. Walk us through the design. Shohan, Antoine Fuqua said, I want a monk cell, but a monk who used to kill people. So we started with a real apartment in Dorchester. It was 450 square feet. We stripped everything. The walls were painted a color called Rainy Day, a gray with a hint of blue. The furniture was from IKEA, but we distressed it. The bed was a twin. He doesn't need space. He needs efficiency. The tea setup was the most detailed. We had a single electric kettle, a Bonavida, 89. A single mug, ceramic, Hamadebulo Calpotter, 89. A single mug, ceramic, Hamadebulo Calpotter, 45. A single spoon, stainless steel, from a military surplus store. The sugar bowl was empty. McCall doesn't take sugar. The tea bags, PG tips, were stacked in a perfect pyramid. Denzel counted them every morning. If one was missing, he would know. The bookshelf, we put 47 books on it. All nonfiction. All dense. Proust, Dostoevsky, Gombrich, Sun Tzu, Clausewitz. No bestsellers. No paperbacks. Everything was hardcover, library editions. McCall doesn't read for pleasure. He reads for discipline. The closet. 3 black hoodies. 3 black t-shirts. 3 pairs of black jeans. 1 pair of boots. 1 rain jacket. That's it. We built a rod that held exactly 11 hangers. If he buys a new shirt, he donates an old one. That's the rule. AD, what about the photo? There's a single photo on the bookshelf. A woman. Is that his wife? Shohan, yes, but we never see her face. It's a profile from behind. She's looking out a window. We don't know her name. Denzel said, I don't want to see her face because I can't remember her face anymore. That broke my heart. We kept the photo in the background of every scene in the apartment. But it's out of focus. That's intentional. The past is blurry. AD, the safe room. Tell us about that. Shohan, McCall has a hidden room behind the bookshelf. Inside, a cot, a week's worth of water, MREs, meals ready to eat, a first aid kit, and a satellite phone. The walls are lined with lead to block thermal imaging. The door is steel reinforced. We built it to actual military specifications. A consultant from the DIA, retired, gave us the blueprints. It cost $50,000 to build. You see it for 90 seconds in the film. AD, the Hurricane House, McCall's childhood home in Brant Rock. Shohan, that was a real house, built in 1923. It was scheduled for demolition. We bought it for $1. We moved it onto a jetty, then we destroyed it. The interior was designed to look like time had stopped. McCall's mother died in 1985, so the kitchen had 1980s appliances, a yellow refrigerator, a rotary phone, a microwave the size of a suitcase. The wallpaper was floral faded. Denzel walked in and said, "This smells like my grandmother's house." That was the highest compliment. AD, the bakery, where the flour explosion happens. Shohan, that was a real bakery in Brant Rock. It had been closed for 20 years. We restored it to look like it did in 1975. The flour bags were period accurate, gold medal, 1970s label. The oven was a 1960s Blodgett. We rigged it with gas lines for the explosion. The fire department was on set. They were nervous. After the explosion, we had to rebuild the bakery for reshoots. We did it in 3 days. The crew called it the Phoenix Set. Part 20. Stunt choreography manual excerpts. Jeff Amada's notes. Jeff Amada, stunt coordinator for the Equalizer 2 and the Bourne series, John Wick, Fast and Furious, kept a handwritten notebook during production. The following are transcribed excerpts. October 2nd, 2017, page 12, Frat House Beatdown. Goal, 30 seconds. 5 opponents. No guns. No knives. Environmental weapons, only. Sequence. McCall enters. Hands up. Non-threatening. De-escalation posture. First punch. Overhand right to the jaw of opponent number 1, standing by fridge. Aim for the mandibular angle. Disorients, doesn't kill. Use the fridge door as a shield. Opponent number 2 swings a bottle. Door blocks. McCall slams the door on his arm. Bottle breaks. Glass on floor. Opponent number 3 charges. McCall sidesteps, Bourne style. Uses opponent number 3's momentum to slam him into a wall. Opponent number 4 has a knife. McCall grabs a frying pan from the stove. Blocks the knife. Pan to the face. Knife falls. Opponent number 5 tries to run. McCall trips him with a chair. Kneels on his back. Timer, 28.4 seconds. Denzel's limitation, he cannot roll. His knees are bad, surgery in 2015. So we removed all rolling maneuvers. He stays on his feet. Everything is upper body. Take 4. Denzel hits opponent number 1 too hard. The stuntman, Mike, gets a bloody nose. Mike says, "That's a good take." Denzel says, "Sorry." Mike says, "Don't be. It looks real." We print it. October 15th, 2017, page 24. The harpoon kill. Goal, silent. Dramatic. 1 shot. 1 kill. Prop, spear gun. Modified to fire a rubber bolt, safe. The bolt is attached to a wire. A crew member pulls the wire to make it look like the harpoon has penetrated. Stunt, Kovac, played by Jonathan Scarf, stands against a pillar. The harpoon fires. Scarf has to react as if he has been impaled. He practiced 50 times. He bruises his ribs on take 30. He keeps going. Denzel's grip. The spear gun has a 200 pounds draw weight. Denzel pulls it back once. He tears a callus. Blood on the grip. "Print it," he says. The blood is in the final film. October 20th, 2017, page 31. Flower explosion. Goal, practical effect. No CGI. 500 pounds of flour. 1 stun grenade, modified to produce a spark. Safety. The set is evacuated except for Denzel, the stunt double for Resnick, Adam Hart, and the pyrotechnician. All 3 wear fire-resistant suits under their costumes. The suits are rated for 1,000 degrees for 4 seconds. The trigger, Resnick Jonathan Scarf, throws the stun grenade. A crew member detonates the flour cloud remotely. The explosion is 30 feet high. Denzel's exit. He walks out the back door. He does not run. He does not look back. The pyrotechnician says he walked through a 900-degree fireball. His back jacket melted. He didn't flinch. Denzel later says, "I felt the heat, but McCall wouldn't run. So I didn't run." Result, the shot is in the film. The flour explosion is 100% practical. No digital enhancement. Part 21. Complete shot list. The hurricane sequence. Technical specifications. The following is the shot list for the final 20 minutes of the film, from McCall arriving in Brant Rock to the final fight. Camera, lens, and movement details are provided. Shot 1, 1 hour and 45 minutes to 1 hour 45 minutes and 30 seconds. Description: McCall's car drives down a flooded street. Rain pounds the windshield. Camera, a Alexa 65, 6.5K resolution. Lens, 35 millimeters anamorphic, 2.39 to 1 aspect ratio. Movement. Car-mounted camera, hood rig. Vibrates to simulate storm. Sound. Practical rain on metal roof. No ADR, automated dialogue replacement. Shot 2. 1 hour 45 minutes and 31 seconds to 1 hour 46 minutes and 15 seconds. Description. McCall exits the car. He looks up at the watchtower. Dave York is silhouetted. Camera. Handheld. Operator running backwards in the rain. Lens. 50 millimeters wide open, f/1.4. Shallow depth of field. Stunt. Water truck sprays 500 gallons per minute. Denzel is drenched. Shot 3. 1 hour 46 minutes and 16 seconds to 1 hour and 48 minutes. Description. McCall enters the boathouse. Kovac is waiting. Camera. Steadicam. Follows Denzel from behind. Lighting. Single practical bulb, 60 watts. Shadows on the walls. Fight. Harpoon kill, see stunt notes. 3 camera angles. Wide, medium, close up on the harpoon entering. Shot 4. 1 hour 48 minutes and 1 second to 1 hour 49 minutes and 30 seconds. Description. The flooded street. Ari hunts McCall. Camera. Drone, DJI Inspire 2. Flies 10 feet above the water. Effect. Rain is added in post CG. The practical rain was too inconsistent. Kill knives. 4 shots. Close up on the blade entering the neck, prosthetic. Shot 5. 1 hour 49 minutes and 31 seconds to 1 hour and 51 minutes. Description. The bakery. Resnick chases McCall. Camera. 2 cameras. Camera A wide on a dolly. Camera B. Close up. Handheld. Lighting. The oven is lit. Warm light contrasts with the cold exterior. Explosion. 3 cameras. Camera C. High speed. 500 frames per second. Captures the flower igniting. Result. Resnick is thrown back. McCall walks through the flames. Shot 6. 1 hour 51 minutes and 1 second to 1 hour and 54 minutes. Description. The watchtower. McCall versus Dave York. Camera. 4 cameras. Camera A, crane looking down. Camera B, ground level looking up. Camera C, tight on faces. Camera D, GoPro on Pascal's chest. Stunt. Pascal falls 12 feet. Crash pad visible in wide shot. Fuqua says, "I don't care. Keep it." Fight. 45 seconds of brutal punching. No choreography. "Just hit each other," Fuqua said. Denzel and Pascal improvise. Shot 7. 1 hour 54 minutes and 1 second to 1 hour 55 minutes and 30 seconds. Description. McCall stabs Dave. The body falls into the sea. Camera. Slow motion, 120 frames per second. The rain is frozen. Sound. Silence. No score. Just the wind. Symbolism. Dave disappears into the water. McCall watches. He does not smile. Shot 8. 1 hour 55 minutes and 31 seconds to 1 hour and 56 minutes. Description. McCall opens the trunk. Miles is inside. Camera. Tight close-up on Miles's face. Ashton Sanders is genuinely crying, method acting. Dialogue. McCall. "You're okay." Miles. "I knew you'd come." The moment. McCall hugs Miles. It is the only hug in the entire film. Part 22. Psychological profile of Robert McCall. Clinical diagnosis. Prepared by Dr. Elizabeth Vance, PhD, fictional consulting psychologist for the film. The following is a fictionalized diagnosis based on the character's behavior. Patient. Robert John McCall. Age. 64, at time of evaluation. Occupation. Former DIA officer, current rideshare driver / vigilante. Referred by. Self. Obsessive behavior noted by associates. Presenting problem. Patient exhibits compulsive timekeeping, social isolation, hypervigilance, and episodic violence against perceived wrongdoers. Patient has lost all immediate family and most friends. Patient refuses psychological treatment. Diagnosis: post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, chronic, 309.81. Criterion B: intrusion. Patient reports nightly nightmares of combat. Flashbacks triggered by loud noises, car backfires, fireworks. Criterion C: avoidance. Patient avoids discussion of his DIA service. Has not visited his wife's grave in 15 years. Criterion D. Negative alterations in cognition. Patient believes he is dangerous to be around. Refuses close relationships. Mentors Miles but keeps emotional distance. Criterion E. Hyperarousal. Patient sleeps 4 hours per night. Constantly scans rooms for exits. Counts seconds obsessively. Obsessive compulsive personality disorder, OCPD, 301.4. Not to be confused with OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder. OCPD is a pervasive pattern of preoccupation with orderliness, perfectionism, and control. Patient's tea ritual, exact water temperature, exact steeping time, exact cup placement. Patient's wardrobe, only black, only 3 copies of each item. Patient's violence, kills only when necessary, kills with precision, kills cleanly. Major depressive disorder, recurrent, in partial remission, 296.35. Patient reports anhedonia, inability to feel pleasure. He does not enjoy food, music, or socializing. Patient's affect is flat. He rarely smiles. When he does, it is fleeting. However, patient finds purpose in helping others, the lift passengers miles. This suggests partial remission. Risk assessment. Risk to self, low. Patient has no suicidal ideation. He is too disciplined. Risk to others, high. Patient has killed at least 23 people on screen. He shows no remorse. He believes his violence is justified. Protective factors. Patient's moral code. He does not kill innocents. He does not kill for profit. He kills only to protect. Treatment recommendations. Patient is unlikely to seek treatment. He believes his symptoms are strengths. Cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, for PTSD, exposure therapy, cognitive restructuring. Medication, SSRIs, sertraline, for depression and hyperarousal. Social engagement, encourage patient to maintain relationship with Miles. Prognosis, guarded. Patient will likely continue his pattern of isolation and episodic violence until physical decline prevents it. He is a functional psychopath with a moral compass. This is rare and dangerous. Part 23. Weapons Analysis. The Tools of the Equalizer. All weapons used by Robert McCall in the Equalizer 2. Ranked by lethality and frequency. 1. The tea kettle, Turkish train. Type, improvised blunt/thermal weapon. Temperature, 212 degrees Fahrenheit, boiling water. Effect, scald to the hand. Temporary incapacitation. Legality, not a weapon in civilian context. McCall uses it as one. Symbolism, domestic object turned violent. McCall weaponizes his routine. 2. The zip tie, Turkish train. Type restraint. Tensile strength, 250 pounds. Effect, immobilizes the father. Allows McCall to escape. Origin, bought at a hardware store in Istanbul off-screen. Note, McCall carries zip ties in his jacket pocket at all times. Confirmed by costume designer. 3. The frying pan, frat house. Type, blunt object. Material, cast iron, Lodge brand, 10-inch. Effect, blocks a knife, then strikes the attacker's face. Sound effect, a gong mixed with a slap. Foley artist used a frozen ham. 4. The spear gun, Brant Rock Boathouse. Type, pneumatic fishing weapon. Model, Mara Cyrano 110, 1.1 meter barrel. Draw weight, 200 pounds. Projectile, 7 millimeter steel shaft, 20 inches long. Effect, impales Kovac through the chest. Instant death. Realism, a spear gun of this power would kill a human at 10 meters. The film's distance, 5 meters, is accurate. Symbolism, McCall is Ahab. Kovac is the whale. 5. The knives, Flooded Street. Type, dual throwing/utility knives. Model, SOG Steel Puck, 4.85-inch blade. Steel, AUS, 8 stainless steel. Effect, 1 to the neck, Ari, 1 to the leg, Ari. Note, McCall carries these knives in ankle holsters. They are not visible under his jeans. 6. The Stun Grenade Bakery. Type, Flashbang M84 model. Lumen output, 1 million candela, temporary blindness. Decibel level, 170 dB, temporary deafness. Effect, Resnick throws it. McCall redirects it into the flower cloud. The spark ignites the flower. Note, the M84 is a real military grenade. The prop was inert. 7. The Flour Bakery. Type, combustible dust. Concentration, 50 grams per cubic meter, minimum for explosion. Ignition source, 500 degrees Fahrenheit spark from the stun grenade. Effect, fuel air explosion. Resnick is killed by the blast wave and heat. Realism, flour mills have exploded historically. The science is accurate. 8. The Gerber Mark II knife, final fight. Type, double-edged dagger. Blade length, 7 inches. Owner, Dave York. Effect, McCall takes the knife from Dave. He stabs Dave in the abdomen, same wound as Susan, then slashes the back of Dave's neck. Symbolism, Dave is killed by his own weapon. Poetic justice, 9 McCall's hands. Type, unarmed combat. Number of strikes in film, 47 counted. Effect, broken bones, concussions, dislocated joints. Note, McCall never uses a gun in the Equalizer 2. He uses one in the first film to save a girl. In the sequel, he abandons firearms entirely. He kills only with improvised or bladed weapons. This is a deliberate choice by Fuqua. Guns are impersonal. McCall wants to feel the kill. He needs to know it's done. Part 24, Location Scouting Reports, full document. The following is a reproduction of the location scouting report for the Equalizer 2, prepared by location manager John Panzarella. Report date, June 15, 2017. Project, The Equalizer 2. Director, Antoine Fuqua. Studio, Sony Pictures. Location number 1, the Turkish train. Requirement, high-speed train interior. Winter exterior. Scouted, Turkey actual. Bulgaria soundstage. Massachusetts soundstage. Decision, soundstage in Canton, Massachusetts. Cost, $500,000 to build train set. Reason, political instability in Turkey, 2017 coup attempt. Insurance would not cover filming. Exterior shots, stock footage from Turkish railways, licensed for $50,000. Location number 2, the diner, Susan and McCall. Requirement, 24-hour diner. Authentic Boston feel. Scouted, South Street Diner, Boston. Bickford's, Cambridge. Victoria's, Worcester. Decision, South Street Diner. Cost, $15,000 for 3 nights, plus $15,000 for 3 nights, plus $5,000 to the owner for inconvenience. Challenge, the diner is active 24/7. Production shut it down from 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. Regulars were angry. Sony paid for their meals at a nearby diner, $2,000 compensation. Location number 3, the courtyard, Miles's mural. Requirement, housing project. Realistic, safe for crew. Scouted, Orchard Park, Dorchester. Franklin Field, Dorchester. Commonwealth, Brighton. Decision, Orchard Park. Cost, $200,000. Toberwild mural wall point $200,000. 000 Toberwild mural wall point 50, 000 to repaint after filming. Community outreach. Sony donated $25,000 to the Orchard Park Youth Center. Denzel visited during filming. He played basketball with residents. Location number 4, the Brussels Hotel, Susan's death. Requirement, European-style hotel room. Interior only. Scouted, Belgium, too expensive. Montreal, similar architecture. Worcester, Massachusetts. Decision, Worcester, Massachusetts. A vacant hotel, the Beechwood. Cost, $10,000 for 1 week. Set dressing, imported Belgian beer bottles, French newspapers, European electrical outlets. Cost, $15,000. Location number 5, Dave York's house. Requirement, suburban home. Upper middle class. Neutral colors. Scouted, Marblehead, Lexington, Wellesley. Decision, Marblehead, 147 Ocean Avenue. Cost, $50,000 for 2 weeks, plus $50,000 for 2 weeks, plus $10,000 for homeowners to relocate to a hotel. Challenge, the homeowners had 2 young daughters. The daughters appear in the film as Dave's children. They were paid $5,000 each. Location number 6, Brant Rock, Hurricane Sequence. Requirement, coastal town. Jetty, watchtower, evacuated field. Scouted, Brant Rock, Marshfield, Nantucket, Hull. Plum Island, Newburyport. Decision, Brant Rock. Cost, $1 million for 3 weeks. Includes building watchtower, moving house onto jetty, hiring fire department, police overtime. Community impact. The town was evacuated for 3 weeks. Residents were paid $1,000 per day for the inconvenience. Total community compensation, $1,000 per day for the inconvenience. Total community compensation, $250,000. Weather, a real tropical storm hit during filming. Production kept shooting. The storm added realism. Part 25. Casting breakdowns, alternative actors considered. The following is a list of actors who auditioned or were considered for roles in The Equalizer 2, according to casting director Victoria Thomas. Role, Dave York. Considered, Joel Kinnaman, The Killing. Tom Hardy, Mad Max. Michael B. Jordan, Too Young. Oscar Isaac, Ex Machina. Audition, Pedro Pascal, 1. Ben Mendelsohn, Rogue One. John Bernthal, The Punisher. Why Pascal 1? He brought a softness. The other actors played Dave as a hard-ass. Pedro played him as a dad. That's scarier. Antoine Fuqua. Role, Miles Whitaker. Considered, Lakeith Stanfield, Atlanta. Caleb Landry Jones, Get Out. Calvin Harrison Jr., It Comes at Night. Auditioned, Ashton Sanders, 1. Trevant Rhodes, Moonlight. Gerald Jerome, Moonlight. Why Sanders 1? He had the sadness. Miles is angry, but he's also wounded. Ashton showed the wound. The others just showed the anger. Victoria Thomas. Role, Susan Plummer, reprising from first film. No audition. Melissa Leo was always the first choice. Backup, if Leo declined, Frances McDormand, Fargo. Tilda Swinton, Michael Clayton. Note, Leo demanded equal pay to her male co-stars. Sony agreed. She was paid $2 million. Role, Sam Rubinstein. Considered, Carl Reiner, 96, passed. Norman Lloyd, 102, passed. Eli Wallach, deceased. Auditioned, Orson Bean, 1. Dick Van Dyke, scheduling conflict. Ed Asner, scheduling conflict. Why Bean 1? He was 90 and had more energy than anyone. He showed up at 5 a.m. He knew his lines cold. He was a pro. Antoine Fuqua. Part 26. Deleted subplot reconstructions. Full script pages. Deleted subplot 1. The Gang War. Script pages 45 to 55. 8 pages. Summary. Miles's friend, a gang member named Darnell, played by an uncredited extra, is shot by a rival gang. Miles wants revenge. McCall stops him. Miles, crying, "He was my brother. They killed him. I'm gonna kill them." McCall, "No, you're not." Miles, "You kill people." "Why can't I?" McCall, "Because I've lost everything. You haven't. If you kill, you lose yourself. You become them." McCall holds Miles. Miles sobs. Why deleted? Fuqua felt the subplot was too heavy. The film already had Susan's death. A second death, Darnell, would have been overkill. The scene was shot but cut in post. Available on Blu-ray. Deleted subplot 2. The painting heist. Script pages 78 to 85. 7 pages. Summary. McCall breaks into a gallery to steal the painting of Sam's sister. He uses his DIA skills to bypass security lasers. McCall, whispering to himself, laser grid. 12 beams. Pattern repeats every 30 seconds. He crawls under the lasers. He cuts the painting out of the frame. He replaces it with a fake. Security guard off-screen hello. McCall hides in a vent. He waits 2 minutes. He escapes. Why deleted? Fuqua felt the scene was too mission impossible. McCall is not a thief. He is an equalizer. The scene was cut before filming. The script pages remain. Deleted subplot 3. Brian's Revenge. Script pages 110 to 118. 8 pages. Summary. After Susan's death, Brian Plummer, Bill Pullman, buys a gun. He tracks down one of Day's associates. He attempts to kill him. McCall stops him. Brian, holding a gun, "She was my wife. Let me do this." McCall, "She wouldn't want this." Brian, "I don't care what she wants. She's dead." McCall takes the gun. He unloads it. McCall, "I'll do it. You go home. Mourn. That's your job now." Why deleted? Test audiences hated it. They felt Brian was weak. They wanted McCall to do all the killing. The scene was cut. Brian disappears after Susan's funeral. He is not seen again in the film. Part 27, Alternate Endings, described by Fuqua. Alternate ending number 1, the dark ending. McCall kills Dave York. He returns to Boston. He visits Miles's apartment. Miles is not there. The mural is unfinished. McCall sees a news report. Teenager killed in gang shooting. The victim is Miles. McCall walks out of the apartment. He gets in his car. He drives. The screen goes black. No resolution. Test audience reaction. Devastating. People walked out angry. Fuqua. Result, not used. Alternate ending number 2, the team-up ending. After killing Dave, McCall returns to Boston. Miles is waiting. Miles says, "Teach me." McCall says, "You don't want this life." Miles says, "I don't have a choice." McCall nods. The two walk off together. The final shot, a black car driving away. Test audience reaction. Mixed. Some loved it. Some said it was unearned. Miles isn't ready. Fuqua. Result, not used. Alternate ending number 3, the theatrical ending. Used in the final film. Sam finds his sister. Miles finishes the mural. McCall looks at the sea. Test audience reaction. Satisfying. Sad but hopeful. Fuqua. Result used. Demographics. Gender. 55% male, 45% female. Age. 35% under 35. 65% over 35. Race. 40% black, 35% white, 15% Hispanic, 10% Asian/other. Income. 50, 000 minus 50, 000 minus 75, 000 median. Why did you see The Equalizer 2? Denzel Washington, 68%. Liked the first film, 22%. Action movie fan, 7%. Other, 3%. How would you rate the film? 1 to 5 stars. 5 stars, 45%. 4 stars, 35%. 3 stars, 15%. 2 stars, 4%. 1 star, 1%. What did you like most? Denzel's performance, 58%. The action scenes, 25%. The mentor relationship, 12%. The hurricane climax, 5%. What did you like least? Too slow in the middle, 40%. Susan's death, 30%. Not enough action, 20%. Other, 10%. Would you recommend this film to a friend? Definitely yes, 69%. Probably yes, 20%. Probably no, 8%. Definitely no, 3%. Analysis. Audiences loved Denzel. They tolerated the pacing. They were sad about Susan. A CinemaScore reflects the 45% who gave it 5 stars. The 52% Rotten Tomatoes reflects the critics who gave it 3 stars or less. This is a classic audience versus critic split. The Equalizer 2 soundtrack, composed by Harry Gregson Williams, was released on July 20th, 2018. The album contains 22 tracks. The following is a track-by-track analysis, asterisk. Track 1. The Equalizer 2, main title, 2:30. Instruments, piano 3 notes, cello electronic drone. Mood, cold, lonely, precise. Film location, opening credits over the Turkish train sequence. Track 2, Istanbul, 3:15. Instruments, Turkish ney flute, strings, percussion. Mood, exotic, tense. Film location, McCall searches for the kidnapped girl. Track 3, Lift Driver, 4 o'clock. Instruments, piano solo, no percussion. Mood, routine, mechanical. Film location, the lift montage. Track 4, Sam's painting, 2:45. Instruments, violin, cello duet. Mood, melancholy, nostalgic. Film location, Sam explains his search for his sister. Track 5, The Frat House, 3:30. Instruments, drum machine, distorted guitar, piano. Mood, aggressive, fast. Film location, McCall beats the 5 men. Track 6, Miles's mural, 4:15. Instruments, acoustic guitar, soft strings. Mood, hopeful, warm. Film location, Miles begins the mural. Track 7. Brussels, 2 o'clock. Instruments, electronic buzz low bass. Mood, suspenseful, ominous. Film location, Susan arrives in Brussels. Track 8. Susan's death, 3:45. Instruments, solo cello, flat note, silence. Mood, devastating, empty. Film location, McCall learns of Susan's death. Track 9. The investigation, 3 o'clock. Instruments, piano, staccato, electronic glitches. Mood, detective work, tension. Film location, McCall examines the crime scene. Track 10. Dave's kitchen, 5 o'clock. Instruments, no music, silence, then a low rumble. Mood, terrifying, intimate. Film location, McCall confronts Dave at his home. Track 11. The hurricane, 6 o'clock. Instruments, orchestra, out of time, wind effects. Mood, chaotic, overwhelming. Film location, McCall arrives in Brant Rock. Track 12. Harpoon, 2:30. Instruments, brass, stabs, percussion. Mood, brutal, final. Film location, McCall kills Kovac. Track 13. Flower explosion, 1:45. Instruments, silence, then a blast of noise. Mood, sudden, shocking. Film location, the bakery explosion. Track 14. Watchtower fight, 4 o'clock. Instruments, strings, chaotic. Piano, desperate. Mood, exhausted, violent. Film location, McCall versus Dave. Track 15. The rescue, 2:15. Instruments, piano, slow. Cello, warm. Mood, relieved, sad. Film location, McCall opens the trunk. Miles is alive. Track 16. Sam's sister, 3 o'clock. Instruments, violin, solo, harp. Mood, bittersweet, joyful. Film location, Sam reunites with his sister. Track 17. The mural, 2:30. Instruments, full orchestra, major key. Mood, hopeful, triumphant. Film location, Miles finishes the mural. McCall looks at the sea. The following is a collection of 101 facts about the Equalizer 2, compiled from interviews, commentaries, and production notes. Denzel Washington did his own driving stunts. He has a real-life race car license. The lift car was a 2016 Ford Taurus. 3 identical cars were used. Hero, stunt, backup. The license plate on McCall's car is MA4EQ2. Massachusetts for Equalizer 2. The photo of Susan's family on her desk is a real photo of Melissa Leo's family. Pedro Pascal improvised the line, "We're the same, Robert." It is not in the script. The hurricane sequence took 3 weeks to film. The final cut is 20 minutes. The watchtower was 40 feet tall. Denzel climbed it himself. He is afraid of heights. The flower explosion was inspired by a real explosion at a grain silo in 1998. Orson Bean was 90. He drove himself to set every day. He refused a driver. Ashton Sanders, Miles, was 22 playing 17. He wore a retainer to look younger. The film's original title was The Equalizer, Retribution. Denzel Washington has a clause in his contract, no sequels. He waived it for this film. The film was dedicated to Mace Neufeld, producer of the original Equalizer TV series, who died in 2017. Melissa Leo learned to fire a gun for the role. She's a pacifist in real life. The DIA, Defense Intelligence Agency, consulted on the film. They approved the script. The film's budget was $62 million. Denzel Washington $62 million. Denzel Washington $20 million, 32% of the budget. The film shot for 52 days. Denzel worked every day. He never took a sick day. The Turkish train set was built in 6 weeks. It cost $500,000. The tea McCall drinks, PG Tips, is British. Denzel drinks Earl Grey in real life. The book McCall reads, Proust, is 4,000 pages. Denzel read it in 3 months. The painting Sam seeks is called The Vanishing Sister. The prop was sold at auction for $15,000. The mural Miles paints took 2 weeks to complete. Ashton Sanders painted 70% of it. The final shot, McCall looking at the sea, was filmed at 6 a.m. Denzel had been awake since 3 a.m. The film's sound design was nominated for a Golden Reel Award. It lost to A Quiet Place. The film's visual effects were done by 12 artists. The budget was $4.5 million. The hurricane winds were created by 3 jet engines. They produced 150 miles per hour winds. The rain was real. The production used 10,000 gallons of water per minute. The watch McCall wears, Luminox, was Denzel's personal watch. He did not want a prop. The scars on Denzel's back are real. He was in a car accident in 1995. The film was shot in 6K resolution. The final master is 4K. The film's aspect ratio is 2.39 to 1, standard widescreen. The film's runtime is 121 minutes. The first cut was 165 minutes. The deleted scenes total 44 minutes. Only 22 minutes are on the Blu-ray. The film's MPAA rating is R4, brutal violence and language. The film has 47 curse words. Most are uttered by Miles. The film has 23 on-screen deaths. 12 are by McCall. The film has 0 sex scenes. McCall is celibate. The film has 1 kiss, Miles's grandmother kissing Miles's forehead. The film's budget for craft services was $500,000. Denzel requested a private chef. He paid for it himself. By Dr. Mark Harris, film critic and cultural historian, written exclusively for this encyclopedia. The Equalizer 2 was released on July 20th, 2018. 1 week earlier, a mass shooting had occurred in a parking lot in Nashville. 1 week later, a shooting in a synagogue in Pittsburgh. America was on fire. The news was a cycle of violence. And into this chaos came a film about a man who fixes violence with more violence. What are we to make of this? Is The Equalizer 2 escapism or propaganda? I argue it is both. Robert McCall is a fantasy. He is a black man who is not afraid of white supremacy. He is a former government agent who has not been corrupted by power. He is an older man who is still relevant. He is a killer who feels guilt. He is impossible. He is necessary. America in 2018 was a country that had lost faith in institutions. The police were shooting unarmed citizens. The government was shutting down. The president was a reality TV star. Who could save us? No one. So we turned to fiction. We turned to a man in a black hoodie who drinks tea and kills bad guys. The Equalizer 2 is not a great film. It is a good enough film. It gave us 121 minutes of certainty in a world of chaos. We knew McCall would win. We knew Miles would survive. We knew Dave York would die. That certainty was a comfort. The film's legacy is not its box office or its Rotten Tomatoes score. Its legacy is the feeling it gave audiences that justice is possible, that one person can make a difference, that time is on the side of the righteous. That is a lie, of course. Justice is slow. One person cannot fix a broken system. Time favors the young, not the old. But we need lies. We need stories. We need Robert McCall. So thank you, Antoine Fuqua. Thank you, Denzel Washington. Thank you for a film about a man who tries, even when trying is futile. Thank you for a film that ends with a mural, not a massacre. Thank you for a film that looks at the sea and sees hope, not the horizon. The account is closed, but the ledger is never full.